Good morning.
Hello, welcome to Bars and Bells. My name is Lauren.
And I'm Ian.
And this morning we are in the weekend workout. But don't worry, it can be done any time of day or night. So join us as we explore our body weight practice, single leg strength, balances on our hands and our feet. Let's get started with a light warm up and we'll take it from there.
Excellent.
All you need is this.
All you need is this, just a little body weight. We'll start at the head neck and we'll draw those figure 8 shapes, and then we'll take it into the figure 8 shape through the rib cage after that. Hands at your sides, maybe gently clasped behind your back, and then starting with your chin tuck, gently, and small ranges are allowed here, chin towards the top of that sternum. Then look across the clavicle, those other shoulder bones there, and then I'm looking at Lauren or up the wall, and I'll trace the wall to the ceiling, and then find the middle. Then I'll pull my chin right back down center. Then I'll scrape across that other clavicle there, looking at the other wall, looking up towards the same ceiling. And then in the middle, just pull the crown head high and reset the chin on the horizon. Now let's switch the direction once each way, extension or up first. Extension, gently up. Then look towards the wall. Then look down the wall. Chin may or may not connect to the clavicles and the sternum there, but just keep it nice and tight. We're going extension one more time up, and then our rotation out to the side, a gentle down, find the middle, and then casually reset the head on the horizon. I like to switch up my stance every now and then, so let's do that. And then hands, I like them across my body for this next move of that figure 8 through that rib cage. It does start with a little chin tuck. Then squeeze the blades together and flex the spine forward. Then I'll rotate. I'll side bend, and I'll lift up and over towards the back corner, and then pull the rib cage back down, flexing that rib cage back down onto the hips. Adding onto the rotation, and then our side bend, and an up and over action to center, and continue to pull back down, meeting in the middle. The last thing for that is the extension or up face first. Keep your chin down as you lift up, and then rotate. Incorporate the side bend, and this time we're circling to the front. When your chest lines up with your hips, pull down, lift up, and then it's one more time rotation, one more time side bend, circle shapes to the front again from the back corner, and keep pulling down on those abs to pull up through the rib cage. One last move from me before we hand it over to Lauren, and it has to do with those shoulder blades. Palms facing forward or thumbs, and elevate or shrug the shoulders up, round them forward, and light effort, return them back down. Repeat, elevate, shrug, squeeze, retraction, and then light effort down. Repeat one more time, the handstand shapes, elevate those shoulders. Hollow body shapes, probably rounding them through, but in real life, leave them just down, just gently, but again, up for the handstand. Retract shoulder blades as well, and then light effort, return down. More to come with those arms and limbs. Now it's up to Lauren to take it from here.
All right, let's start at the bottom now and get to those tootsies, the feet. We'll gently bend, I've never called them tootsies. We'll gently bend those toes, and then we'll do our light first balance up here and land bending the next set of toes. As we do this, we have our hips extended on that landing so that butt cheek is nice and squeezed. Our knee is bending. This time we're going to land, and we'll continue bending that knee, light tip in the hips into that single leg squat almost, and then double up. Most of my weight is on that bending or flat-footed leg, but I do have that little outrigger here. One more time on each side, sitting down, trying to sit back evenly in both hips, press through to tall, up, down, little switch. This time stay here. Try to peel that heel off the floor. So now you have a 2-foot bent knee balance, holding. Then keep those heels high off the floor as you find your demi-point rise, and then control the down. This time we'll bend the knees again. We'll roll through the feet. We'll come back up to that balance. We'll stay up here this time, and then we'll slowly bend the knees. Keep the heels up. Slowly descend, folding like an accordion to the lowest point. Knees will land softly on the ground. Hips will extend. Let's do our matrix style lean back that we've been working on in our various classes. I like pointed feet out the back here. cage down, hips extended, cheek squeeze, knees, hips, shoulders stay in line as we slowly lean back and then pull ourselves back through. Whew. Let's do that one more time. Hips stay extended, but cage stays down. We're leaning back. You can hear those abs and pull yourself back through. Nice. Now that those hips are extended, let's get into a quick lunge series. So with one leg coming out in front, that vertical shin, we'll take our hips and lightly hike them up and then pull them down. And let's do that again. Hike that hip up, trying to keep the shoulders at the same level and then pull the hips back down. We'll do one drift forward, so pulling on that front leg, keeping the back hip extended as we go knee towards over the toe. And then we'll press ourselves back through all the way to tall, keeping the hip extended. Heel toe that leg out to the side. Same idea. Before we move, hike the hip up, pull it down. One more time. Hike it up. Oh yeah. Pull down. Now, keeping back hip extended, side leg pushing down and pulling. Have some tension in that hamstring, have some tension in that adductor, but have no tension or light tension in that hip flexor there. Then press yourself back to tall, tall, tall. Let's do that one more time. You can even feel into that hip flexor there, trying not to let it pop into your hand as you press over and then come back to tall. Heel toe that leg to the front. Let's zip it underneath and repeat on the other side. So first with that vertical front shin, we hiked the hip up and then pulled the hip down. And repeat again, light hike up, pull down. Cage is on top of hips. We're pulling ourselves forward. Back butt cheek is squeezed, knees going towards over toes. And then as we press back, keep squeezing the cheek tally tall. We'll take that leg out to the side, repeating the same thing. Knee and toes are on the same line. Doesn't have to be at 3 or 9 o'clock, more at 10 or 2 o'clock likely. Feel that hip flexor's quiet, but that underside of the leg is tight as we pull ourselves over and then press back. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. One last time there, opening up these side hips. Might be harder on one side to keep a quiet hip flexor. I'm noticing on this side it's going da, da, da. That's what it sounds like. Yeah, then heel toe from the inside to the center. We'll put the knees underneath and we'll get back up via our toe squat. So we'll rock back. Find the balance first. Stay high on that balance points as you come to the rise. And then again, control the descent. Give that a little shake and wiggle.
And as we moved up and down like an accordion, I guess, with that toe squat, let's challenge those arms as excavating arms here, moving through the fingertips and the shoulders and those elbows in between. Fingers face forward, casually elevate the shoulders, and then from those armpits or lats, gently start pulling them back down. Keep the elbows straight and make light fists with the fingers. Then, keeping the elbows straight, flex or bend the knuckles towards forward on the wrists. Then we'll do our biceps curl up from here, elevate the shoulders again, and pull those armpits down yet again. Then keeping those armpits low or active through those scapula, take the elbows and flex them on the shoulder, pointing forward. Then return the elbows to the ribs. Initiate this next movement with your fingers as you slowly start to open up that fist hand into our extension or push-ups hand there. And when the wrist is out of room, then go into the elbow, straightening it. Lightly retract those shoulder blades together and then extend the shoulder behind, reaching those arms gently behind. Then, for the final one, make light fists with the fingers, then bend the wrists, then bend the elbows, and then bend the shoulder, I guess, here as we point those elbow tips forward. And just as we finish, fingertips to the back wall now, then open up in the wrist extension and squeeze the shoulder blades together for stability as you extend the elbows out front, and then return those hands to the ground. But it's time to load those hands as well, so let's get back to the floor and incorporate some of the wrist warm-ups here as part of those handstand warm-ups.
I did realize I forgot that while I was down there. So let's get back down there and do it. Let's forward fold to get to the floor here. So with our blades together, T-Rex arms or arms across chest, chin will gently tuck. We're flexing through C-spine. Then we're thinking about T-spine or rib cage as we start to roll around forward. Try to keep a pencil between your shoulder blades so it's actually your spine rounding. Now it's that lumbar flexing over top of our belly button. And here we're gonna try to keep our hips extended by keeping the weight in our forefoot, and we'll end up in that full forward fold. Now let your arms go and just dangle for a second. Breathing, maybe bending one knee, straightening the other, pedaling a little bit. And then we'll slowly find the floor. Knees bend, place hands. I was actually gonna spice it up here, and I was gonna start with fists. So let's make those fists, retracted shoulders, nice straight elbows, hinge, hands or knuckles find the floor. Shoulder stays out of your ear, priority 1. Roll over the back of your hand, opening the palm towards the ceiling. As you press that hand towards the floor, check out the elbow pit. Is it nice and rotated forward while maintaining that depressed shoulder? Then push the hand into the floor to use your muscles to come back up to that fist. Let's repeat on the other side. Roll over the back of the hand, opening it up. Elbow pits facing forward, shoulders pulled out of your ear. Might be different on this side. Press down to go back up. One last time each side there. This opposing side to the wrist, giving us a little bit more space. Push down to go up. And last time, rolling over the back of the hand, shoulders out of the ears, palms up, press down to go back up. This time, we'll push the floor away, shake that out, and now we'll open the hands, retract the shoulders, land through the fingers, through the callus lines, and then the full palms connect. Now, shoulders shrug. I don't know. Yes, I do. Pull my shoulders down. Elbow pits, rotate backwards. Shoulder blades don't move when you do that. Rotate elbow pits forward, screwing your forearms into your hands and wrists. Now with those fingers heavy on the floor, let's lightly drift forward and then use our fingers to press ourselves back. We'll need those balance or those cues when we're doing our handstand balance today. So feel the connection to the floor with your fingers as you push forward to get yourself back to stacked. Then once we're stacked, we're gonna press through those palms, flicking the floor away and giving that a light shake out. Check in with those wrists throughout the class. It's a lot of work to crawl, to handstand, to spend time on them. We wanna spend a nice amount of time, but not too much time. Speaking of which.
Before we go back to those hands, let's stand up in that toe squat pattern here. So tuck your toes, find your toe balance, stand up tall, maybe tiptoe around just to make sure you have that balance. And then return the feet to the floor. Beautiful. Great stiff knees. Great stiff knees right there. We're all auditioning for our favorite seasonal roles, I guess, today. But before we do that, let's get into the squatting hips as we will explore some of those squats in between our hand balances. We've practiced the parallel stance. Let's just open up towards a narrow stance here or that first position. Pull yourself down, creating that nice diamond shape between the knees and the hips, and push through, cramping up those glutes. Great cue. Then pull ourselves down yet again, heavy on the pinky side of the feet here, and then we'll press our hips through, finishing tall yet again. A set of 3, because going to bed last night, we needed 3 subscribers to make it to 1,000, and we have 1,000 subs, so thank you so much. And ooh, that time and attention does burn. Let's just pull it up. Let's do the same thing, opening up your stance for about 3 reps as well. Pull yourself down, keep building the awareness of the hips to be a cow, and push your hips through, finishing tall with those glute squeezes. Pull the feet together to control ourselves down, and then again, push through. And maybe we're looking for 1,003 subs today, so in that vein, let's do these 3 squats, and we pull ourselves low, and maybe we'll just hang out here for a little while longer.
I'm trying to be in a toaster.
And then push through, also a great cue. And then wiggle out those feet, bring them back, and I'm sure Lauren has a creative way to get down on the floor to practice more crawling or zoological shapes.
Crawling or core rhymes with floor. All right, let's use our hinge to get ourselves there. Hip hinge, walk yourself out. Let's establish our first plank here today. Hands are gripping the floor, toes are tucked, hips are up in line with shoulders, shoulders are pulled out of your ears. Now, tighten up your legs, squeeze your butt cheeks, brace your abs, and do all of those things at the same time. Also, while pulling your shoulders down, you should feel those lats. You're so tight with tension here that if I came through the screen, picked up both your feet, I can lift you into your handstand shape. Tight like a tree trunk for 5, 4, 3, 2, easy off. Just take a second off, shake those wrists out. Let's do that one more time. When we're doing these planks, try to make all your muscles tight. We'll only hold it for 10 seconds. Here we go. Hands down, or like my 10 seconds, so plus or minus a few. Gripping the floor, start at the shoulders, out of your ears, lats, abs braced, butt cheeks squeeze, legs tight, tension running through everything, including your hands. Grip the floor. 5, 3, 2, lift your hips, widen your stance a little bit, walk yourself back to your hinge, press through to tall. Oh, planks don't have to be long to be effective. Tighten it all, but now shake it out in between.
Shake it out. Continuing the squat vibe here, let's get our stance towards like a sumo stance or slightly wider than maybe you've been yet. We'll pull ourselves down together, and as we stand up, let's find that single leg base of support. Either ankle shape, but this is our handstand class, so remember to point those toes. Straighten and land, and same thing, find your balance. We could do it with a little balance aid to the side, or challenge yourself in free space, and this time, find the knee, and then straighten, and sit, and stand. Now as we straighten the leg that's up, make sure the bottom leg is also straight, and find our sit again. And just one more time, straighten out, find your squat, and then one more time. Hands on hips, hands across chests, somewhere that works for you. Push through, shake it out, and more core on the floor.
There we go. Great, we're going to come down to do our bear hold, maybe even adding a little bit of a crawl. Let's revisit that toe squat again. So knees bend towards over the toes, peel the heels up, soft landing, hips extend. We'll come down and find our 4 points of contact right away. So that's 2 hands, toes, knees hover off the floor. Hold, bowl of water on your back, bracing and breathing, tension like that plank, but now could you take opposite hand and foot in a forward locomotion? As you do this, really be honest with your core. Are you wiggling side to side? If so, slow it down even more, or put your knees down. Could you go backwards back? Still contralateral steps here. Trying to maintain that core brace as your limbs move for 2, 1. Knees come down. Woo.
And we'll stay down.
So we'll stay down here.
And we'll stay down here. And as we're exploring those bears, maybe just throw a little frog in there to continue to open up those hips. So for that frog, open up your knees to a comfortable stance. Then hinging on the hips, let's get forearms towards the floor. And then you might just find a little bit more space to open up from there. In this moment, we have our tailbone cow shape. And then gently, gently do your tailbone cat shape or scoop under the hips. Maintain our tailbone cow as we make that transition. And through those forearms and fists, I'm pushing forward to gently let my hips drop towards my heels. Ooh. Say hello to those adductors.
Hello, adductors.
Then pull yourself forward. You might adjust your hands as you need. And then when you do pull yourself forward, tuck under like the smallest cat shape. Then revisit the cow or that anterior tip. And as you push the arms forward, our buttocks are dropping to the heels like in our squats position. Breathe into that tension and also being able to come home safe. Just one more time. We have our tailbone cow shape. We're pushing the forearms forward, keeping our spine nice and long and breathing. And last time we'll pull ourselves forward and gently peel those knees back together. And then I think we're going back to the zoo to a different exhibit.
All right, let's get that elephant a rocking because we'll lengthen out those hamstrings before we do some kick-ups today. So in that elephant position, our hands are again gripping the floor. Toes will tuck and then knees will lift. Hips will lift towards the air. Let's first start with our bent kneed elephant here. So in that bent kneed position, my heels are off the floor. I want you to keep your heels off the floor, keep your tailbone tipped to the ceiling, but think about straightening your legs from your femurs or your upper leg versus just pushing your heels to the floor. When you think about pushing your heels to the floor, you're actually more just lengthening your calves. And I want you to try to feel length in the back of your meaty hamstrings here. For 3, 2, and then return your knees to the floor. You could either do that again, or we could take that elephant for a little bit of a walk, opposite hand and foot. I'm going to continue in the stationary pattern. Ian will crawl. We'll lift our knees. We'll lift back up to that elephant shape. Ian's walking with opposite hand and foot here. I'm gently prioritizing, trying to straighten those knees by pulling in the femurs, lightly extending. I'm quivering back there in the forwards walk, and then he's going to go backwards back, still maintaining that contralateral position for 4, 3, 2, walk your hands towards your feet, stand yourself up. Check in with how those hammies, wrists, and everything are feeling.
Over the past couple weeks, we've advanced movements to be crawling and hand balancing on the ground, then putting our feet on a box or a similar object to then ultimately those kick-up skills in the middle of the room. I'll be performing those kick-up skills today as Lauren cues. Let's follow along. I think it's going to start with the tripod.
All right, let's start with that tripod entry. So in that entry, we have our hands gripping the floor, a staggered stance, 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. As usual, this is your first time on 2 points of contact today, so let's make it baby, meaning just find a little baby air, baby air. All right, maybe now you're ready to graduate to toddler room, that was a big toddler. And then as you slowly work yourself up to a little bit more air each and every kick up, you are trying to alternate that kickoff leg. Take your time. Ideally, what you're working on here is finding how much kick up you need to get to that upside down position. So figure it out, play with it. How much do I need? How much is too much? How much is too little? Give that a little shake.
And then it's time to continue the squat exploration for today. So open up to your stance. Might be a little bit wider than usual, and that's okay. We'll play with some of these isometric techniques to safely, but perhaps intensely, cramp up those legs. Pull yourself to a single direction. Hips are forward, one leg is very straight, and the other leg has that flex or bent shape on the knee. Now just push through the bent knee to get up nice and tall. Repeat to the other side. We're pulling together like in Lauren's warm-up where we drifted the knee over the toe. And now that we're here, push gently both ways, but push more through the bent leg, feeling most of the intensity on that quad group. Now repeating, slightly more intense. Let's pull ourselves over. Are our hips level? Are those knees over the toes? Now for 10 seconds, push equally both ways, meaning we won't move. We sure could feel lateral butt cheeks on a straight leg, medial quads, and then push through the toes and that quad group, returning back up nice and tall. Repeating to the other side. This leg is staying very straight. Those hips are forward. Push equally both ways. Maybe a little tapping technique can help to turn on those right spots. And just like Lauren did, we'll push heavier through the bent leg, returning nice and tall. Then just in the middle, take your time and pull yourself low. Like in the frog stance before, we're trying to keep that tailbone cow shape. Breathe, drift, hang out for a second longer, and then push those feet away, extend those hips through, and then wiggle back to center.
We'll go from our tripod entry here into that kick up. So in that kick up position, we're starting in that hollow hold with our arms towards overhead. We have 1 foot out front. We're thinking about getting up and over a little baby fence as we again explore that baby air to start. I would like you to try all these kick up techniques, and then you can always go back and practice your favorite one. We're doing about 6 to 8 reps here. Doesn't have to be a ton, but again, exploring how much power in my legs do I need to get my hips towards over my head, shoulders, wrists, breathing. Also notice that every time Ian is pushing the floor away to come back up to that fully standing position. If that's one thing you focus on, that's a great thing to focus on. Push the floor away to come back up.
Push, accept the floor, and then push it away. Returning to that squat variation here, kind of the same thing. Opening up, feeling nice and tall. Pull yourself to one side or the other. One leg stays straight, the other is bent. Now push equally for 10, 9, hips are forward, heavy through those feet, cramping butt cheeks. And then just stay there. You might be able to drift a little bit further. And now for 10 seconds, push equally both ways, stiff leg, heavy toes, heavy quad.
I'm counting, don't worry.
Push through the bent knee and finish nice and tall. Adding that time under tension might allow you to go a little bit further when your body knows it's safe to come home. So pulling ourselves the other way. The hip is forward. When you're at your end range right now, push equally both ways. Heavy quad tension, heavy glutes, breathing over top. Stay chill, relax. Not an easy thing to do. Then you might be able to drift just a little bit further. And now from that new position, push equally both ways. Keep the glutes on that straight leg. Of course, we're trying to turn on those medial quads and then push through the bent knee to get tall. Move those feet back together and shake it out.
All right, the last entry here is choose your favorite of those last two. So let's either practice that tripod entry again or the step in. Whatever you so choose, get set up, get organized. I want you to alternate your takeoff leg. So as you enter here, kicking up, getting towards your safe upside down position. If I was switching legs here, I would perform a scissor kick. So I'd kick up and then I'd come down with the opposing leg. You could do that option, or you could just switch your legs once you're standing back up tall. You choose. Do work both sides, it's good for the brain. If you are going for that long duration of handstand where you're trying to find that perfect line, then maybe that's where we go to that more dominant side. But take your time, try both sides, point those toes, breathe, and push the floor away. Last one or so here. Oh, so much fun in handstands. And then shake it out.
Whew. Awesome. And shake it out. We've done some weight transfers in the squats and practiced those nice deep ranges. Now let's continue, or rather finish today's practice with that weight transfer movement as well. So open up to your wider stance. And we've been here a couple times. Let's just pull ourselves over, keeping those hips forward. Now I might have gone too far, but first I'm going to point that toe. I'm going to try to lift that leg, which personally I can't quite do from there, but from right here, I bet you I can. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Toe, ball, heel. Feel the pull effort, and then push to the other side. Same thing. As we're lifting the leg, the hip is going down as that femur or leg is going high. Now grab the floor, toe, ball, heel. Feel our pull, then our push. Let's lift that leg, and then extend the knee that you're standing on, pushing the hip over the foot. Then bend that standing leg, grab the floor, feel a pull, finish with a push. Stretch that standing leg, hold for a second, and then bend that knee, grab the floor, push, lift, stretch that standing leg. And the last thing here would be to find that toe balance and breathe, and then down with a straight leg, then blend it into a knee bend as you pull across and point the other leg, stretch the hip over top. And it's very challenging here with Lauren looking at something that's not so stable at me, so focus on something that doesn't move, and then heel to the floor, knee bend, pull yourself to the middle, and for one last time, wiggle yourself down to your safest, lowest position in the low squat, heavy on the pinky side of the foot. Upper body nice and upright as allowed, nice little chin tuck as well, and then push the feet away to extend back to tall, and shake, and wiggle. We just heard the bells here locally on our street, so I think that means that we're just about done our practice here today.
Let's spend one more 30-second interval, whether it's a plank, a bear hover, an elephant crawl, or a couple seconds of kick-ups. Choose your own adventure, choose your own ending here. 30 seconds goes on the clock in 5. I will be doing my bear crawl. 3, 2, here we go. 30, is this safe? Don't fall over this way, okay? Okay. Oh, breathing. We like to spend this time on our hands, on our wrists, just building that endurance, building that strength. Often your muscles can take the tension, but it's those tendons and bones that aren't used to holding all of that energy. We're holding for another 5, 3, 2, and then make your way to your standing position, or keep standing on your hands if you'd like, as we conclude today's practice. So thanks for joining us today on our body weight and our body weight practice. Sorry, I'm distracted by the handstand behind me. We're coming up to Almost your full minute. Oh, 5 seconds.
It just
didn't
felt
want
like
to
I was in
jinx
that
you.
zone. I wanted to challenge it today.
Oh,
So thanks for letting me
excellent.
continue there.
So again, we have 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Super exciting for us. It's been 3 years in the making. So thanks for sticking with us. Tell your friends, watch some videos, as well as check out our Patreon page and our website. Next week, everything starts again with Tuesday at our kettlebell live practice, and we'll take it from there. Until next time,
take care.
Stay strong.
And let's train soon. Have a great Thanksgiving weekend to all those Canadians out there. Goodbye.
Goodbye.